Hey guys, welcome to week 4. I sent out a notification last week letting you know that this week would be a little different. And so I wanted to walk you through this week's module. By the way, I don't think I've done a pre-recorded video for you guys. So I'm hoping this is a nice break this week and hearing my voice with the module, hopefully it will give you a better understanding of what it is you'll be doing this week. So again, if you have questions, please feel free to ask me. However, if you have questions, post them to week 4 discussion board this week. That way everyone can see your question, because often most people have the same question if I'm unclear. So please don't hesitate to ask, but ask me there. So here we are at week 4. Like I said, this is going to be a slight break from our usual routine. However, in week 5, we'll go back and we'll finish up the last unit. And that's my favorite unit of all. And it will kind of wrap up everything we've learned so far. And you'll see the progression from the 14th century to the present. In this week, you'll also be comparing present day artists with the things you've learned so far in art history. So I think it'll be a fun assignment. You'll have a little bit of research. You'll learn something very new. You'll also learn about artists who are alive and working today. So not just old dead guys. They're alive, they're working, they're immersed in the art world, and I think you might find them quite interesting. So let's go to week 4. So in the introduction, I'm just going to kind of walk you through the module. It's going to tell you a little bit about this assignment. So I'm going to read it to you. Art is a reflection of an artist's environment, identity, and voice. This project will focus on your knowledge of a contemporary artist in relation to chronology, style, and purpose for making art. You will be given an artist who is alive and working today, like I said, as a source for your research and critical thinking. This will be very different from what we've covered so far, because we are skipping way ahead in time for this project. However, all artists find inspiration from the past, either in concept or materials or in some other way. So get to know this artist, look at their art, look at the materials they use, and most importantly, know why they make art. You will trace their influences throughout art history. The artist you're assigned may not be mentioned in your book, so research and be sure to make notations of your research for MLA formatting. Okay, so I'll let you read the rest on your own. By the way, this is a required project through TVCC, so the rubric that you'll be giving, the different critical thinking skills, all that is already predetermined. And there is a group component to this project, but since this is an online environment, we're going to be doing a peer review for that group component. So be patient with this. This is the difficult part of navigating through online learning, but I think it's going to work fine. So you will not have a typical discussion this week. However, you will need to mark yourself present for role. So under week 4 discussion, I need everyone to just reply present. And this is also going to be the place where you ask questions. So there may be questions that you have about this assignment. Instead of emailing me, ask me here. I'll check this daily. And that way, if you have a question, I'd highly recommend that you go to this discussion board first and see if your question has already been asked. Okay. And feel free to, talk to each other about the project. Make comments, answer each other. That would be great. So this week you'll be completing a rough draft for your PowerPoint presentation. This is going to be your component. Typically in a full 16-week course, there would be an essay and PowerPoint presentation, but because of our time constraints, you will only have a PowerPoint presentation. So I've assigned each of you an artist. So in the week 4 module, you will click here and open up the PDF to find your name and the artist that I assigned you. Okay. Now I said that all of them are alive and working. The only one who is not is this team, Christo and Jean-Claude. His wife, Jean-Claude, has passed, but Christo is still alive and working. So these are all current artists. And these may be some artists where you look at their work and like, why is this considered art? So that's what you should figure out. And you'll also decide what their influences throughout art history has been. Okay? So you're going to find your artist there. Then you're going to get to know that artist. And I'll explain that a little bit later. But do a search. See what kind of artwork that they do. Okay? Then you're going to follow the next step, and I have it all laid out here for you. You're going to open the LEAPS project and guidelines PDF. Okay? And I want you to fill this out exactly the way it is. It's going to help you in your PowerPoint presentation. And if you have all these basic facts, then you're going to do great in your presentation. Okay? So first I want you to define these 4 terms. Okay, what is a composition? What is style? What is medium? What is an art movement? So answer those questions. And then I want you to fill out basic facts about your artist. Okay, when you search for your assigned artist, don't go to Wikipedia, although it's great for viewing artwork. The information may not be factual. And when you're looking up an artist's work, avoid Pinterest. At all costs, it'll take you all over the web, and many times it's not even the artist's work. So find a reliable source such as the Museum of Modern Art or the actual artist's site themselves, because they are living and working now. I can almost bet that all of them have a website. Many of them have documentaries. Many of them have videos on YouTube of them being interviewed themselves or talking themselves. And there's a great source called Art21. It's a PBS publication. It has great videos, and many of the artists you can find there too. So fill this out. They may not be dead, so just put their birth date, maybe where they're living. Fill out this information. And then this is the fun part. You're going to think about past influences. Okay, so these questions will help prompt you to know how to look for that, where to begin, because as you can see, we've covered many centuries of art history. So where do you begin? Especially if you didn't read the book. I know it's pretty lengthy and dense. So where would you begin to see what their historical influences are? So this will help you. Okay? So answer these questions. And I would suggest, if you can, if you have a printer, print this out and handwrite a lot of these answers. Okay? That's going to help you. And then you're going to compare what they're doing now, how they're contributing to the present art world today. Okay? So in your research, when you read about them, you'll start to understand their contributions to the present. And then you'll look at any other additional information. Is this artist successful? Do you think it's good? Why or why not? What kind of prices do their artwork sell for? So fill out those questions. And then you'll go down here to the LEAPS project guidelines. Okay, so the first part is a questionnaire. I will not be grading it. It is purely for your benefit. But the more in depth you answer those questions, the better you will be in your presentation. Okay. Here it lays out your list of slides, and I'm going to go over that again with you, but it tells you exactly what should be on which slide. And there are a total of 12 slides in your presentation. If you prefer a Word document, you can open up the Word document here. The first one's a PDF, the second one's a Word document. So you decide what works better for you. So then you're going to create your PowerPoint presentation. Okay, and this is going to be a rough draft. You're going to turn in your rough draft of your presentation here. Okay, And when you turn this in, it's going to automatically submit for a peer review. So as several of you start to turn in your presentation, it's going to assign you a peer. So you will find that peer on your dashboard. It may not happen right away. It may take some time before someone else turns in a paper. It will be on your dashboard to the right. Okay, so you'll find it there. The only discrepancy that you may find are the due dates, and I'll tell you why. So you must follow this. Submit your rough draft by Friday, August 3rd. Okay, now in Canvas, it's going to show that it's due on Monday, the day that you open this module, but ignore that. I had to put that in there so that way, if some of you finish this rough draft on Monday, you can go ahead and submit it, and it will go into the peer review bank, so to speak, to be assigned a peer review. So I had to set the due date a little earlier for the peer reviews to start accruing throughout the week. So make sure you submit your rough draft by Friday. Once you are assigned a peer review, hopefully everyone will have one on Friday, you'll have the weekend to grade your peer's presentation. And you're going to fill out this peer review here. Okay, so you'll need to open this Word document, and you can physically fill in numbers and yes or no. Okay, and then you're going to have a number scale, 1 being lowest, 10 the highest, the best that they can do. And you're going to fill out this information for your peer. Okay, you're going to email this back to your peer, and you're going to turn it in to me. You will turn in your peer review here as an assignment to me. All right, so it's on the very next page. So once you turn that peer review by Sunday, that will give you a day on Monday to make any kind of changes so that you can turn your final presentation into me a week from Monday that this opens. Okay, I know it doesn't give you a lot of time, but you guys, we have a very short time period to cover this book and the required presentation assignment from TVCC. So you're going to have to work pretty quick this week to get this done. However, you do not have a unit test and you do not have a usual discussion. So your peer review is kind of your group discussion. You're helping each other out that way this week. All right. So I hope that that helps by going through and explaining some of this. Here, of course, you'll turn in your final presentation. It will be here. It has its own page to turn it in, and I also have the rubric for you. So I would suggest, highly suggest, looking over your presentation and this rubric to make sure you have everything. All right, so I'll be taking the points, and I can't remember the math, but I'll be multiplying it to get a grade of 100 as your highest grade. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this page we were on and explain what else is down here. So this is a recap, the explanation of PowerPoint presentation for art history. Okay, so this is a PDF that you can look at just to kind of go over the directions. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is look up your artist. What does he or she do? So let's see. Let's say you have artist Janine Antoni. Okay. So when you do a search, you're going to see her work pop up. You see first an Art 21 video, which is fantastic. They're a great source. If you go to images, you'll see images of her work. As you scroll over the images, it will tell you where the source is. If it says Smithsonian, that's probably a reliable source. You could click on that. If it says Art 21, that's a reliable source. You can use that. Again, if it says Pinterest, do not even click on the image. Go to a different one. All right. So this is Janine Antoni, contemporary artist. She's alive. She's working. Very successful artist, and works in a variety of medium, and very, very interesting. So you'll find a lot of work about her. So look up the artist, get to know them, fill out the basic facts worksheet, follow the instructions in the LEAPS PowerPoint presentation guidelines. This tells you what all 12 slides should have. If I were you, I would open up PowerPoint and just start adding 12 slides. And then following the directions. Okay, what should slide 1 have? Put that in there. What should slide 2 have? Add that in there. Follow it very precisely. And don't leave out any slides. Next step is to make sure you label all of your images in your presentation. All right, so you will be labeling them according to MLA. This is part of the rubric in your assignment. This can be confusing, so you may want to copy and paste this video, but it's also in the module. All right, I'll let you watch it, but it's a great video explaining how to label slides in a presentation. Here's a good example. This student did very well. It's kind of hard to see, but labeled figure 2. They even put a hyperlink with the title, where it is at, and this is architecture, so it's slightly different than a painting, and the artist. So you'll need to watch that video and see how to label each artwork. Every single artwork should be labeled. This is not your artwork, and even if it was, it'd need to be labeled, but you cannot plagiarize. You have to give credit to that artist. So, I'm sorry, that was a good example of slide number 4, but this is from Art History 1, so yours is slightly different. Slide number 10, to relieve any confusion about what a summary of holdings is. For every image you have to tell me where it is at. Okay, so this tells me where this specific title of art, who it's from, where it's at, and what figure it is in your presentation. Works cited page on slide 11. This goes for every image as well, and information that you've used in your presentation. Okay, and make sure that all the information in your presentation is in your own words. And finally, slide 12, don't leave this out. Tell me your average from your peer review. So you get the average from adding up all of the numbers on the right-hand column and dividing by how many there are. That's how you find your average. Okay, and like I said, here is the video that explains how to label your images. All right, so figure 1, artist name, title, date, medium, size, and where it is at now. Okay, so I hope this short video clarifies what you're going to be doing this week. Just follow it step by step, and again, if you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer. Just put those questions in the week 4 discussion. Good luck.